Hello, this is Chris speaking, Shores of Infinity, with a video about Spiral Dynamics Aubergine. 3 examples of Spiral Dynamics Aubergine. In the second tier of Spiral Dynamics there are 6 colors. I call them yellow, turquoise, coral, teal, plum and aubergine. Another way of putting it would be yellow, turquoise, indigo, violet, ultraviolet and clear light, which is what Ken Wilber suggested. As soon as you start talking or writing about rare Spiral Dynamics colors like plum and aubergine respectively, ultraviolet and clear light, some people will already claim that they are there, which is what our mind does. Our mind cannot understand that it is not the highest form of consciousness, which is of course not true. It's one of the lowest forms of consciousness. The mind is a cultural habit. It's a superego. In the second half of the second tier, in the last 3 colors, the preeminence of the mind gets exchanged with the preeminence of intuition and direct knowledge without thinking. Now, that you can have a picture, an image in your mind, or somewhere else, wherever you want to put it. 3 examples of living teachers who are centered in Spiral Dynamics Aubergine right now, today, December 2022. This might not be valid for before or afterwards, but now it's true. First of all, Tony Parsons. Tony Parsons has been centered in Aubergine for a long time, and his point is not only that nothing is really happening, but also that there cannot be possibly anything beyond this state that he's experiencing, which we call in Spiral Dynamics aubergine or clear light. The second one is Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle has been in teal, plum, aubergine and back and forth for a long time and is now firmly centered in aubergine. And his recent talks reflect that. He's talking about different things and in a different way than before. Much deeper, much more all-encompassing. And the third example is the Dalai Lama, the current and last Dalai Lama. He announced that he will not reincarnate because of the big troubles the last Karmapa or the current Karmapa has and had with the Chinese government. The Karmapa is the religious leader of the Tibetan people and Buddhists, and the Dalai Lama is the worldly leader. So for a long time he had to have been centered in a different color, mostly teal, to be able to fulfill his office as a worldly leader. It's very difficult to be centered in aubergine and be a worldly leader at the same time with these very foul games of politics you're confronted with all the time. You're confronted with psychopaths and liars all the time. But for some reason now, near the end of his life, he went to aubergine. That's where he is now. And very few people in the world are centered in aubergine and are able to maintain that. Well, he's 82 now. I don't know if it's the end of his life, but it could be. So if you want to have an impression about what aubergine or clear light could look like and looks like, watch videos and talks of these 3 people, recent talks. For not only are they in aubergine, they are an exiting aubergine, which is the very last stage and substage of the second tier. So any one of them could move to tier 3, which is a very rare thing. Thank you for joining me as a Patreon. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you to all my patrons. Thank you for sharing the videos, and see you soon.